Well, it's Saturday morning and it was really cold last night, so I left my puffer jacket on the end of the bed for Patsy, and now she refuses to get out of bed. Sorry, the camera's shaking because I'm laughing. I got a bargain. I don't normally buy anything when I'm out, on the web, well, things like this. But as I said earlier, I was going down to Holland and Barrett's, the health food store. I was topping up on vitamins and stuff like that. So I popped into Penny's. This is in Sligo. These were on sale. Look at those robust soles and those non-slip bits. Good thick soles. Fur lined. Look at the price. It was marked down, they were marked down to €8. And now, today, they were €3. €3! Yeah? I couldn't leave them there. I mean, come on. I could not leave them there. So, I've got my beautiful, warm, sort of slippers in a way. I suppose I could wear them as, pink boots, but I was looking for a decent pair of slippers, something that, as you know, I go outside in my dressing gown and slippers. So I wanted something with non-slip soles, thick soles that wouldn't get wet. I mean, €3. I couldn't believe it. I snatched them up and ran to the till, handed over my filthy lucre and headed out of the shop quick in case it was a mistake. And the manager would call me back. Oh. Anyway, beat that bargain, that's all I can say. Beat that bargain. Last night it was so cold, well, I thought it was quite cold, that what I did, I packed up the stove with wood and a little bit of peat that I had been given and closed it all down and just let it smoulder. This morning, the cottage was so warm. See, I've got the doors open over here, look. That's the little spare bedroom, and that's my bedroom, and I haven't actually made my bed yet, but anyway. So I got up and came out into the sitting room and I started opening windows. Imagine opening windows in February. Because the cottage was so warm. What a lovely complaint. One of the great things about deciding 20 years ago to leave London and leave a place where I was incredibly committed to, having to work and having to pay extraordinarily large bills. I mean, Lord knows what they're like now. I dread to think. But I just kind of liberated myself from having to depend on anyone or anything. And living here, I decided that I was going to get rid of the toilet and have a compost toilet, so I'd never have to worry about the drought during the summer, which you get, because I have a spring well. And never having to worry about whether I could afford to heat the cottage or not, because I had an old Stanley stove installed, a bit like an Aga, but the Irish version. And so all my hot water came through whatever fire I had in that stove. All the central heating, which is a bit inadequate, but it works to a certain extent. And like I say, the cottage is too warm this morning. Boiling the kettle, for the tea. Heating the oven up on the Stanley that I could bake if I had to. The fact that it's there and I can fire it up. And I have 3 acres now of woodland, and I have an independent water supply. So my expenditure is quite low. And it means that as I grow older, I can afford to live in what should be a normal way for everyone, which is a roof over one's head, a fire in the grate, or, you know, the cost of your heating, say, for example, and enough food and water. I mean, those are basic things. Aren't they supposed to be guaranteed by some kind of United Nations international law or something, you know? not that that means much. But anyway, so today, Saturday, I'm going to take you down the driveway again because I want to show you the work that I got stuck into yesterday, which was cutting back what has become not just a hedgerow but a complete tree line along the public roadway. And of course there's wires overhead, so I can't allow stuff to grow up and affect the wires. And this has been, you know, in the planning for years, for years, that I go and cut some of these trees back and regenerate the hedgerow. Anyway, I got stuck into that yesterday, and hard work. I'm left with aches and pains, but that's all good. That's just muscles that I haven't used that are now being kind of primed up again. And yeah, anyway, look, enough of this rambling. I'm going to set off down the lane with the wee girl. Hey, Pats, what about it? She says, yeah, I'm ready, Mum. I'm fired up. Those of you who are familiar with this channel will know that I'm constantly striving for as much independence from the system, in inverted commas, as possible. And this was something that I had my eye on for quite some time, because it represents for me being able to be outdoors much more freely without even having to go indoors. I can actually cook on this, I can boil my kettle and, you know, have a little bit of warmth, and it's just another one of those assets that really lift me and make me feel strong. And then there's something so deeply wild and feral and old, ancient about the smell of wood smoke. So when I'm working outdoors, whatever environment I've ever lived in, and, you know, I used to have an allotment in London, the smell of wood smoke was just so evocative. It just brought me back to something very ancient within my own being. So I'm just down here now by the end of the driveway, and just looking at the work that I've done so far. I'm just going to pull back on this video. Don't worry about Patsy, she is actually tethered up there, so she can't reach the road. Now, so I've been cutting back all this old hedge, which had grown to this. You can just see. So this is the new cut along here, and you can see it'll all come up now as a hedge. A lot of cut bits to get rid of, and what I'm doing with them, I'm stacking them all inside the actual hedge line, which drops down to an old ditch which is no longer used because I have directed all the water through the stream bed. So far so good. I have a lot more to do. This is by no means it. There's a lot more work to do down here, and it's hard work, as I said before, but it is satisfying because it is something that has been on my mind to do for a very long time, many, many years. Now, another very important aspect of this cutback is that when I'm pulling out in my car, I can actually see, go right up here to the end of the driveway where I'd normally be in the car, I can see right up the road, so it's much safer. And because I did cut back a few months ago on this side, I can see down the road as well. Come on, Pats. So just as I'm walking up the driveway, I've spotted that some of the celandines here are out. So this is on the other side of the pond. Let's just get a little close-up of these. Come back, Patsy. Patsy wants to nose about. Come back, that's a good girl. That's it, that's it. There we go, look at that. Aren't they lovely? So here's just a reminder of what the cottage looked like on the first day that I saw it. Now, I was living in London at the time and I came backwards and forwards to Ireland looking for the cheapest cottage on the cheapest piece of land that I could find. Didn't have any relations here in this particular county and didn't know anybody, but this is what I could afford, this is what I bought. What I really longed for, so much, so deep in my heart, was a cottage in the woods. So I bought the cottage and the 3 acres and decided I was going to plant a woodland. And so now I have a cottage in the woods. So, you see, I did achieve my heart's desire. I planted about 1,100 trees, probably more. Can't recall, didn't keep a list of how many trees I was planting. But look how it's turned out. I now have a cottage in the woods. So if you're new to this channel and you've enjoyed this video, please like and perhaps even subscribe. That would be fabulous because the algorithms here on YouTube depend very much on the amount of likes that I get and the amount of subscribers that I have. And this channel has been up and running for 11 years, so it's a lovely community and you're very welcome to the community of Bealtaine Cottage. You'll find so many like-minded people on here and it's lovely to read your comments, so please share your thoughts. Blessings to all.